You're actually too young to be doing this, but you have a unique perspective on Howard that I appreciate. Yeah, so, I mean, you're pretty cool. You're a pretty cool girl. So,
Thank you, Todd. I'm glad to hear that. That makes me very happy. I don't get called cool very often anymore. Well, I don't know that I ever got called cool.
You might want to just, your head's not as shiny as Howard's, so I turned the light down on him a little bit.
How's construction biz?
It is, we are busy right now. A lot of that storm damage, we do a lot of insurance claim work or have over the years. And so we have a lot of people who need help, unfortunately, who've had problems with trees falling on their houses and things like that, which is sad, but I guess positive for us.
Well, K-Guard is an account that we use, or we do, and we don't do, and we do, and we don't do. But when, nothing like a storm blowing through to make his business go.
I know. Isn't that funny?
And when the insurance is paying for it, they'll get the good gutters.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah. Well, it's a very unusual balance of justifying everything. That's people don't realize it. They think, oh, I have insurance, and my insurance company's going to be great, and the insurance company wants to pay as little as they can to get you back to where you were. And so everything we do, we are doing to justify for the client what we're, restoring. So it's interesting. It's a paperwork nightmare, but these things happen.
Yeah, you're fine. I got all mine. Did you need to move your car?
Oh, dang. I probably did
Do I need to what?
There's somebody outside your car that says that.
It's too late now, I got the ticket, so.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I probably did
Once
too.
once they
Probably
start writing,
deserved
you
it.
can't move it. So anyway, but we're ready, Todd, whenever you want to take it.
What got you interested in advertising in the first place?
Hold on 1 second for that.
Motorcycle? Yeah.
That's Howard driving off.
Okay.
Well, that's a really funny question because I had no thought of advertising at all. When I was in high school, I loved art. I was in art classes and I loved it. And honestly, I don't even remember, I came from Bedford County, and a lot of kids at that time didn't go on to a 4-year university. But I ended up somehow at Virginia Western speaking with the counselor, and the counselor said, you have 2 options. You can be go into fine arts and teach, or you can go into graphic arts and work in advertising. And I said, well, I think that graphic arts thing sounds interesting, so sign me up for that. So that's how I got into it, and of course was very fortunate to have an incredible instructor and loved it and have not stopped since. So
Tell me about meeting Howard.
I was working at a different agency in town, the Maddox agency at the time, and got an interview with, let me take that back. I saw Howard at the Addy Awards, where I had won my very first advertising award for a menu catalog thing that I had done and designed for the Hotel Roanoke. And so, of course, I'm very young and very excited. It was a big deal to win an Addy Award at that age, obviously. And so I met Howard Packett that evening at the Addies, and he said I should come by and talk to him sometime. So I set up an appointment and met him at the Roanoke Country Club for lunch to interview. What I probably, in hindsight, shouldn't have done was I showed up in my grandfather's bibbed overalls, which were discarded by him because they were too old and funky, but adopted by me because they were old and funky. And so, I showed up at the Roanoke Country Club, and I think instantly just admired and was impressed with Howard because Howard did not even bat an eye. He was just awesome. We had a great lunch it was a great experience, and he hired me immediately, and I came to work for Packet back then.
You've had an amazing career, and you're still working on it. But what's been your biggest thrill in your career in advertising?
The biggest thrill?
Yeah. What did you say? Dang on, I did that.
Well, you know, we did a lot of campaigns and a lot of work here that I'm really, really proud of. And I guess this sounds kind of hokey, but the most fun I had was when I was in a position at Packet to be in charge of as creative director at the Packet Group, where I really was guiding other employees. I really was so proud of the work that we did, and to see some of these younger guys like me on that first Addy, that I wanted to see them go and win awards for the company and for themselves, was just that really made it fun. I am a big advocate of mentoring, bringing kids in, bringing young people in, and giving them a chance to really see what a job is all about, because I think that's huge, and getting them that spark going to get the excitement going for them for a career in the business. So I don't know. I think it's maybe just doing great work and then seeing other people get that spark and that excitement.
What local advertising campaigns do you remember that you thought particularly were impactful to you, meaningful to you, or you thought, man, that was cool, or I'm glad I did that, or I wish I'd have done that?
Well, I have to say, and this is very recent and very local, but the whole Freedom First campaign that's happening, and I guess still happening right now, where you pass on the blue envelope. I have admired that campaign. I've admired the TV spots and the whole idea of the credit union giving back and then offering people the opportunity to give back to others. And I've actually been fortunate enough to be able to participate and hand out little blue envelopes, which has been fabulous for me. I've really enjoyed that, just picking strangers to treat. I very much admired that campaign. One of the campaigns that I really was thrilled with that we did here was for Carillion years ago. We were trying to change the image or work on the image of Carillion being a big corporate entity instead of the health system that is made up of so many citizens all over Virginia and Southwest Virginia. And so we came up with a concept that really afforded us to go to each locality that the health system is located in and actually do spots or do segments with real people, local people, in their own environments, whether it was a garage where a mechanic was or a beauty salon where a hairdresser was, and really show key locations all over Western Virginia. And that campaign was very successful for Carillion, and I was really proud of that. I worked on that we worked on that together here. That's back when Robin Chalkley was here working with me, and Sean Murray was still here. I think it was just a real collaborative effort.
What do you think the value? Do you need to get out?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, don't be sorry.
Your question. I apologize. I have
She-
a class.
Overachiever, she's got another job and a class.
She has appointments.
So she has places to be.
Nice to meet you, Juliet.
You know, what do you think the value to a community like Grant? I mean, you know, you look at back through our history. You've got Howard's been involved in everything. John Mulcreasy was involved in virtually every corporate improvement or civic improvement project. Not just advertising stuff, but center and square and whatnot. What's the value of having engaged creative thinkers in a community like ours, in your opinion?
Oh my gosh, I think to have advertising, creative people, marketing people, public relations people really connected in their community and really wanting to give back is key. I know that when I was at Packet and myself, I was on several boards. Howard Packet was on several boards, always has been. I think what happens is you get that whole, all the pro bono work we did, you get that that inspiration for making the community a better place. It only benefits us in the end. If our community gets stronger, more companies come in, more companies here mean more business for us in advertising, marketing, and public relations. I think it's hugely important. And I think for advertising, the advertising community should play an important role in not only working for clients, but working for the greater cause of the community.
Why do you think Howard is one of the most important advertising people in our community?
Probably because he's bald, I don't know.
What is it like to work for him?
Because Howard is just a fabulous guy. There are great advertising people and there are great people, and he's both of those. And to work with Howard is like playing every day. I mean, Howard, it was a pleasure working with him. It was a pleasure coming into work. We had some of the best times ever. I mean, everything was serious, but it wasn't, it wasn't life or death. It's not rocket science. It's do great work. His whole attitude in this environment here, and I have to say he and I think clicked so well over the years because we had the same philosophy about life. It's, don't get so serious. Don't get so heavy with everything. I think that a creative spirit and creative ideas come out of fun and free thinking and an environment that encourages that. And so we tried not to take ourselves too seriously. The work was serious. The client, definitely, it was a serious situation. A lot of money people are spending on advertising. And we definitely took that seriously. But if you've got to open up your minds and have fun. And we sure had a lot of that. And Howard was the ringleader.
There's a story going around that he may have possibly mooned the staff. I'm not sure that's true.
Oh, it's true. I saw the moon rise.
What was the situation surrounding this?
Well, Howard had a birthday, and we asked a client if Bill O'Connor, advertising guy, at that time was with Medico and one of our clients, and we asked him to come by and have breakfast with Howard up in his office that overlooks Jefferson Street. And so we decided that we were all going to show up while they were up in the office BSing and put on our skull caps, and we'd all wear suits and ties, and then we did a great big banner, and I can't say what all was on the banner because there's probably children watching. But we all marched out around the building and across Jefferson Street in front of Hieronymus, the Hieronymus building, and we all stood there and we did a little salute with one of a specific finger on all our hands and wished him happy birthday. And we're all laughing. Keep in mind, this is the whole office. So you've got senior ladies who are office staff, support staff and stuff. You got every age. And we're standing there just laughing, looking up at Howard up there, and he's laughing, and he stands up and he looks at us and he starts messing with his belt. And we're all laughing, And then next thing you know, he turns around and his pants are on the ground. So yes, the moon rose on Jefferson Street on Howard's birthday, one of them. I'm not sure what it was. From the looks of what I saw, let's see, what age was that? It was hilarious. And Howard said that evening he was at a cocktail party and his minister was there, and his minister said that he had heard the moon rose on Jefferson Street that day. So word gets around. Howard needs to keep it clean.
Oh, that's great. Now, were there any surviving pictures of the skull caps? I know not of the moon, but of the skull cap things. It seems like I had seen one back in the day.
Seems like we did have a picture of us all over there.
That's
I'm gonna
true.
have
I
to.
wonder if
I'm
you
gonna have
did-
to
if you
dig
did,
that.
that would be-
I need to look through my
You-
box of goodies.
Actually, I need you to look through your box of goodies for all.
I
sorts of
know
things.
you told me, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that. You know what? There was a video. The guy who, one of the people who was here at that time, stood right at the door and took a video of us, and it's so funny because we're sitting there going. "Ah!" And all these older women are going, "Ah!" running back. It is the funniest thing ever. But anyway, I don't know where that video is. It was hilarious.
Who was it? Was it Lane?
Lane
Lane-
wasn't here. No,
Lane
this is
wasn't there?
way,
Okay,
yeah, before Lane.
The what keeps you excited about advertising and the power of marketing?
I think I've been fortunate because I've always been in an environment working where I've been nurtured, where I have been in a situation where when I came to Packet, I was an art director. I was hired as an art director, junior art director. And Howard and Cecil Edmonds at the time, who was another great advertising person, allowed me to move up and nurtured me. And I think it's just the fact that you can take something, you can take a creative work brief and you can read it over and look at the situation, look at the concerns of the client, and work as a team to really decide what direction we're going to go and make a difference with the company, and not just look at it the obvious. I've known a lot of people and had to work with even with my employees. Don't take what's written down as what the direction you have to go. Look at it upside down, inside out, and really the creative work comes when you really open the doors and look behind everything and really evaluate it and come up with ideas. I've always been in a situation when I was younger where people admired that about me, and I guess you could call that being nosy or obnoxious. But it's always made it exciting for me, and it's been beneficial for me. And that's how I tried to be as a creative director, somebody who really motivated and got excited about my employees, who would really take the extra step and go the extra mile and just think outside the box.
You're as good as anybody who's ever worked here. I really, truly believe that. And I have some evidence to support that. I've heard stories about when judges used to come and after the Addies, they would go to your work and flip it over and be looking at who did it, and it consistently, I always heard it was always Sandy's work. Mm. What kept you here? What makes this place special to you? What makes this place a special place to do what we do, to spend our career here?
Well, probably what kept me here was the nurturing quality of Howard and Cecil at the beginning. They allowed me to do what I do and allowed me to bring on people who were in that team. I mean, I didn't do anything alone, trust me. And a lot of that work I might not even have actually hands-on worked on. As a creative director, it came through me and I approved it, but it may not, a lot of it wasn't my idea. But if I'm pushing people to come up with something more, give me more. Yeah, that's neat, but what else? I just think that I stayed here for so long because I was allowed to. I was allowed to continue to grow. I had fun. This was a great work environment. And it's really funny, now I'm in a construction company helping with marketing and advertising. And when I went there, it was like working in a construction company. And, so I had to come in and, and it can be boring. I think a workplace, no matter where, it needs to be fun. It needs to be fun and it needs to be light. And it doesn't mean you can't get your job done and you can't take it seriously. But you've got to have that element of creativity, or it's not it's not worth coming in.
With all the things that's changed in our society and the way that we communicate and the way that we bounce ideas and the speed of everything, do you believe that advertising can still be an agent of change and good in our community, and why?
Oh yeah, I totally believe that. I think that with social media today, we see it all the time. Something starts.
I hate to ask, but can I get you to start that again, because you played off my answer. I think it would be great if you could
Saying
start
the
with-
answer
Yeah,
or
it
the
can
question.
Sort of be an agent of change. It can be a
Okay.
powerful, whatever you want to say.
Well, I do. I believe that social media has made our world a vehicle for change. We see it all the time. Campaigns started on social media, and people. We can immediately touch millions of people. It's amazing. We couldn't do that before without spending a lot of money, but now I can today. Right now, you can. Anybody can. It's given us a door to the world that wasn't there before. And of course, I believe anybody can make a change in their community. They can make a great change if they are passionate, if they are so inclined about a subject. I think advertising, public relations, marketing, we all, in this career, it's fabulous. You can do something different every day. You can pick something that can change the world. You can pick something that can change your life, your community. It's pretty amazing career choice, and so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that guidance counselor who directed me this way years ago, and it's been awfully good to me.
One more question for you. You've done incredible, but it is counterintuitive, but and you're really a little young to have a real feel for that. But things seem to happen in Roanoke for women in advertising faster than they happen a lot of other places. If you look back to Claire, who was running a big agency at the time, no women were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Mamie Vest was a significant figure in doing marketing for the Republican Party at a time when not many women were doing that.
True.
There are, Judy Perfader. There are a lot of women who became executives in marketing in Roanoke when women were still struggling with glass ceiling other places. Do you have any idea why that might be? I don't. I was looking back at the '50s ad club minutes, and the president of AdFed was a woman.
Who
And
was it?
Amy Lee was her name. I've got to do some research on who that was.
Yeah.
But I don't have any idea why that might be.
Women in advertising here in the Valley have been really strong. But when I look back at that or think back about that, they were pretty darn strong women. I think, and I think that's what makes the difference. I think that, again, has been a plus for me. I don't take just what's handed to me and I guess regurgitate it I'm just curious, and I guess I just have to look at everything on my own and figure out, I have to not take your word for it. But I think so many great women leaders, you're right, have been in the Valley, have made a difference. Beth Dowdy was at John Lambert for years, and now she's running the Roanoke Partnership and has done the Chamber of Commerce. And there's just been so many women. I don't know why, other than we just maybe have our high share of very forceful and smart, just really intelligent ladies who are not scared to go out and make a difference and not scared to have their voice heard.
Sure. Julie McDowell's one that I always thought, Julie was around for a long time. And, it's probably just the talent always shows, and the talent, I even with all the changes, I still think that the big idea is the indispensable part of advertising. You can always get people who can post this, program that, do this, and whether you're doing a pay stub or writing a line of code, it's all just a conduit to getting the big idea.
The
on
idea
paper.
out, right?
Yeah.
Well, and the big idea is the team effort. I mean, that's, I think, what makes this business exciting, because it's, someone has a spark. We, when I was creative director here and at the Packet Group, one of the things I think helped and added to the creative atmosphere was when we had a big project to work on, and a client, you know, deadlines were like ridiculous, and I would say, "We're at, let's go," and we would all, the creative team would get their notepads and their pens, and we would, of course, there weren't laptops, or, you know, we didn't have our tablets and stuff like that, and we would head down the street and go to the ice cream shop or wherever, someplace to sit away from the office, and I would buy everybody whatever treat they wanted, and we would sit and we would throw out ideas. And that, you know, stepping away, that team coming together, and you just never know who's going to say something that sparks another person's idea and thought process. And we had, you know, that was a lot of the best campaigns we've come up with in the past were from, you know, sitting in an ice cream shop drinking a milkshake and laughing and throwing out ideas and just being relaxed and doing the creative process together as a team.
Cindy, I think you did great. Your stories are good. Everything is, you know, I think I'm in great shape.
You think so?
Yeah.
Good.
I have to tell you, I was exposed at some level when we were working on a pro bono project together to the way you would do the cards, the Sharpies.
Yes.
I still do that sometimes.
Do you?
Still do that?
Yeah. Oh, I don't at the construction company. We don't have much of an advertising budget at all. But yeah, I would if I were in this. I do a lot of pro bono still. I work a lot with. I just did something for the American Cancer Society. I work with CHIP a lot. I do a lot of stuff in my church, a ton of stuff. So, but yeah, that is helpful, because to me, again, that's what would happen when we go sit and do our thing wherever. We come back, put it all on cards, concepts, words, thoughts, anything. And when you sit back and look at it, it really, again, you start narrowing down. No, that won't. But look at that. Let's tie that together. And it really lets you see the bigger picture, and you can eliminate stuff. And somebody, I've forgotten who it was, a guy years ago, John Shapelsky, worked here. He went on to greater things up in Pennsylvania. He and his wife, John and Sharon Shapelsky. And they happened to be, I got to know them through the Packet Group. And, you know, he always said, you just get everything out of your head. Just dump it. If it's dumb, if it's crazy, if you think all that, it doesn't matter. Just write it down, jot it all down. And I'm surprised by how I do that and have a notebook, and I start looking back and going through it and rethinking, and how some little tidbit out of that dump comes back and could spark a greater thought. So everybody has their technique, I guess. Mine's been pretty good for me over the years.
It's a good process. Like I said, I usually use it when I say, okay, I'm not going to leave here without 20 ideas.